It's been another month, so it's time for a new devlog. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this year, these devlogs are going to be their own little separate videos on top of the usual Sunday ones, which is why you're seeing this on Saturday this time. So don't worry, a tutorial is coming tomorrow as well. But until then, let me show you and tell you about all the things that have changed since last time. Starting with our main area here, there's a few things that you might notice that are different. We have two new icons here in the bottom left. We have the meta pickups here and the active items. Now the active items, I've gone ahead and specified this is non-teleporter crippling aura and vulnerability aura. These are the same ones I've covered in the past. And these ones right here are the meta progression items. Now what are the meta progression items? Well, that goes into the progression shop. If I come here and use the E button to interact, I can open up the meta progression shop. Now, as you can see, everything here is very much early. Pretty much no icons and a little weird face here, just as a temporary testing. But basically the way it works is you can find the meta items in the dungeon, and when you pick them up, you'll be able to collect them. And these require a certain amount of the meta items. For example, these first two require the first meta item. The starting card here requires the second. The third one goes off the card capacity and the additional blood spawn chance, and the fourth one is for the curse effectiveness reduction. Now, at the current moment, the starting card isn't fully implemented yet. I don't have a way of adding that in, so don't bother updating this, and as well as the bottom two. So the only ones that are currently really working is the card capacity, that should be working, as well as the additional base health and base damage. But as you can see, the template here is already set up, so we can go ahead and use it down the line. I'll go ahead and press escape and get out of it for now. And that's what these are right here. A, B, C, D, meta pickups. So if I want to farm a specific item, let's say I want to farm for these, I will need the first icon. And that icon will appear here eventually, so I'll know which one I want. So I can come here, press E to interact. It goes ahead and changes this top icon here for the one I have selected. Again, these are very temporary icons. And now when I go into the dungeon, only pickups for this type will be actually in the dungeon now. So if I want to hone my actual meta progression on just picking up certain things, I can do that. Or if I find, okay, I'm done focusing on the health, I want to focus on like curse reduction, I can change what I find in the dungeons and farm that a little bit. Now, the way that it actually saves is once you pick it up, it doesn't automatically save to your collection. It will only save once you actually make it to the boss room and go through the portal. So this way, you don't just spawn, find a meta progression item, get it, and then quit out, and then do that over and over and over just to farm it. This way, you have to fight it, get it, make it to the end just to be able to fight the boss. You don't have to beat him, but at that point, it will go ahead and save your progress. So let me show you how that works in-game, as well as some other changes. This cube right here is one of the meta progression items. I can press E to go ahead and pick it up, and now I have it. And again, once I get to the actual boss area, it will lock it in as I've saved it. And there's a few locations around the maps that have these. In general, every single one of these layouts has one location where it is. So once you learn the location for it, check that location. Like I know in the middle of this is a possible location for the spawn. But also, once I have picked up 3 of them, then the rest will despawn and not spawn anymore. There's a maximum amount you can pick up per level. So don't worry, if you missed it, you can find one in another area and pick that one up. But again, there's a chance that you might get less than 3 overall, depending on your luck. But at most, you would get 3 in a level. Now, on top of the actual regular bar that fills up on the bottom, you now will get currency. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and pick up these orbs, which fill up the bottom bar. On top of filling the bottom bar, if I press tab, I can open my collected cards. Now I have no collected cards. I have no meta progress here as well. It shows you everything I've collected, not in this run, but total. I have 110 units of blood, shall we say. And this is the in-dungeon currency because there's now a shop. So if I go ahead and continue exploring, you will see here in the map in the top left, you can see the icon there for a shop icon. And if we make our way to the shop here and run over, it's right over here. I come here, I just press E, but nothing happens. Now, why does nothing happen? It's because I've not unlocked any cards. First, I need to unlock at least some cards for us to be able to make use of the shop at all. So let me go ahead and unlock one of the cards by getting to the first little notch. And here we are. So there's a slightly new screen. We have choose cards to unlock. We have 180. Now, I didn't put any cards into my deck, so I have only health ups right now as options. So for example, let's grab, doesn't matter which, grab this one. So I've now picked something up. So now if I come here and I press E, you'll see I have 2 health ups available here. And you'll see they have a value here, 462 of this currency that we have collected. Now, some things to keep in mind here. The reason I see those 2 is because the cards available here are the ones you do not choose in your card selection, which means theoretically you can intentionally not select a card and pick it up later in the shop. Now, keep in mind that you're gonna need to have the amount of currency needed for it, but the shop locks the items that are presented to you when you first access it. So right now, in here, I have health up and health up, but I don't have enough currency. For me to get more currency, I have to kill more mobs, which gets me more XP, which unlocks me more cards, which means I have more discarded cards. But the shop isn't going to add any more cards here into the 3rd slot. It is these 2 are locked. If I came here when I had 2 cards selected, so 4 discards, it would pick 3 random ones. This means that if you wanted to, you could almost guarantee that 2 of the 3 cards from your first pick you will have access to, because at the current moment, about 2/3 of the experience or currency you get in the level, which is capped at when you reach your maximum amount of XP, is the cost of the card. In this case, you get 700 experience for this level for the portal to appear, and so the currency used here is 462, which is a fraction of that, so you're guaranteed to be able to purchase a card. Now, you don't have to, but you can. This also means that when you go to the next floor, the actual cost of the card will be higher. So every floor you go further, it needs you to kill more mobs to get more experience. Now it's going to be a bigger area as well. And it also means that the cards will cost more and more. Now there's going to be some cards that will have higher, lower costs relative to each other. That has not been implemented yet. So at the current moment, this is kind of a standard line. And if you don't have enough currency, if you select it, nothing happens. You can click escape and just get out of here and continue killing mobs and trying to get enough currency, or you can take the currency with you to the next floor. That is fine too. That should all transfer over. So here I have another card option unlocked to me. Again, I'll pick our health up and then I'll return to the shop. And just to show you that when we come here, press E to interact. I didn't get any more cards. Again, these have been locked in. I have more currency, so eventually I can get enough to purchase one of these 2 cards. When you get to the next floor, the cards will of course reset. You'll have 3 new options. But of course, the shop isn't quite fully finished. I plan to introduce cursed cards next month. But these are basically going to be more powerful versions of the card you've discarded, but with a downside. So for example, if you dropped a damage up that originally increased your damage by 5%, maybe this version will increase your damage by 15%, but you will also take a little bit more damage, or the enemies will be a little tankier, etc. You will see what kind of downside will be there. Because when you go into your actual cards, you can press a right mouse button and you'll be able to see what the keywords are. So these bottom ones here, like unstackable, are now keywords. And now I can see unstackable does not stack with other cards of the same name, keeps highest tier. And I've right-clicked, so I see the options here. And if I right-click again, it goes away. I can add the cards to the bottom, and the same thing. I can right-click, and I have access to all of the information, top and bottom, and right-click to disable. Or if you're on a controller, it is the X button, or the left button on the controller, and you'll be able to swap between them just the same and toggle between the 2. So even when I introduce the curse cards, it will have the tag of the curse, and you'll know what the upside and downside are to make a decision for yourself, whether you want to buy this more powerful version or not. But that's pretty much all that I have added in for this month's release. Now, this was January. I was sick for a week, and last month I was gone on vacation. So the past 2 months haven't been as much updates as I would have liked, but hopefully going forward, we'll kind of pick it back up a little more to get you more exciting and awesome updates forward. As always, the package for this game is available on my Patreon, where you can join these wonderful people here in supporting what I do. It really means a lot. In fact, the support you guys are giving me is actually going to go straight back into the game. I plan to eventually hire an actual artist to do all the art drawings for all the cards. That is the current plan of where to put all the support you guys are giving me. But in the meantime, if you'd like to join the community, the link to the Discord will be down below. And if you'd like to enjoy more of my content, check out this video right here for some more Unreal goodness.